Hey folks, welcome to the channel and welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be looking at an alternative to a fuel-based stove system for your backpacking trips and outdoor adventures. Instead, we're going to be discussing and taking a look at the option of a wood-burning backpacker stove. I've had the opportunity for several months now to be using the Solo Stove Lite in combination with the 900 pot. So today we're going to just kind of discuss this concept of this little wood burning stove that's designed to be really compact and fit inside the 900 pot that you can purchase as well, and how they fit together and work together. It could possibly replace a system that has to do with fuel pods and using fuel pods as the main fuel system and just using the sticks and twigs of nature around you and basically giving you an unlimited fuel source. So let's go ahead, dive into it, discuss the pros and cons of a wood burning system versus a fuel pod system. So I want to explain to you just kind of how the air venting system works. You can't really blow onto your embers and onto your fire because the way that this is set up is all these holes all the way around. That's where the air goes in, it flows through the body, and it feeds the fire with oxygen. So that means that no matter really what the conditions are doing, it's almost impossible to get this flame to snuff out. I mean, I've been in really windy conditions, I've had it snowing in a couple of the shots as you saw, and as long as air is able to access these holes all the way around the bottom, you're good to go, and it's almost impossible to have this flame go out as long as you keep feeding it. The materials of the stove itself is 304 stainless steel. Okay, dimensionally, the height is 3.8 inches and the diameter is 4.25 inches. Now, when it comes to the weight on the stove, it weighs in at 9 ounces. And the 900 pot weighs in at 8 ounces. So when you put the stove inside the pot, you're looking at a total carry weight of this entire system of 1 pound, 1 ounce, which I think is a fantastic carry weight. Now, the pot is also made out of 304 stainless steel. Comes with that really nice lid and that handle. And we're looking at a width from side to side of 4.75 inches and a depth of 4.5 inches. So it's actually wider than it is tall. On the side of the mug, there's also a very distinct markings for not only ounces, but milliliters. This can hold up to 30 ounces of fluid. So both the stove and the pot come with a stuff sack. But as you guys can tell, maybe not the best quality. All right, so we're out here hanging out today. Here's Nate's MSR pocket rocket. Love that pocket rocket. It's a great little item. It's been running for about a minute. We've been timing it now. It's been running for about a minute. 16 ounces of water and no lid. And we're gonna do the same test for length of boiling water with the Solo here in just a second. But we'll see how long it takes to get that water boiling, and then we'll do the same thing with the Solo. All right, so here we are. Nate's telling me it was about 4 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes.
To do that.
Rolling boil. So there we go. On the pocket rocket. So now we're going to test it out with the Solo and see how long that takes. Okay, so now I have my shavings. I have the tinder that I believe I'm going to be able to use. I shouldn't have to use any more than that for the fuel to get the water boiling. So I'm going to light this thing. We're going to start the timer. Get those little guys going there. There we go. Alrighty, we got a flame going. So now we're going to start the timer. Got the same amount. I'm going to leave the lid off even though the pot comes with a lid. Leave it off with 16 ounces of water and we'll see how long it takes. Okay, so here we go. We have a rolling boil and it took us about 20 minutes. So you're looking at about 5 times or excuse me, 4 times the amount of time to boil water. Now, obviously, if I had the lid on there, it would go a little bit faster, but that was just to kind of show you same conditions of an MSR. You know, you're looking at about 4 times the length to get the water to a boil. So I want to share with you just a few tips and tricks here that I've kind of learned as I have used this on a regular basis, is that there is a little bit of a learning curve. The first couple times I did it, it was very long, took me 20 to 30 minutes to get my water to boil. My flame would go out once or twice, but because I wasn't feeding it the proper fuel in the proper way. You start out with really nice, thin, fluffy stuff, you know, either like dried moss, cotton balls, and a few really thin twigs. You get that going, then you want to start to feed it with some good size, you know, pinky to thumb sized twigs to really get that thing burning and get that thing going. Once I kind of figured out the technique and when to put what fuel into the element, then I really began to dial down the time to, right now I'm looking at between 10 and 15 minutes every time I use it if I'm boiling about 20 ounces of water with the lid on. The other thing that helps as well is to have a little stick with you that you kind of poke and kind of prod the twigs, you know, because as it burns, it may kind of start to smolder a little bit. You can get in there, just kind of jab it around, the flame will come right back up and you can feed it some more. Now, this thing is hungry. If you think that you can light this thing and walk away for 10 minutes and it's still going to be burning when you come back, not the case. You have to kind of babysit the thing, feed it every 1 to 2 minutes with 1 or 2 sticks to kind of keep that flame going. So that is one thing to consider. This isn't a light it and forget it type of stove. You are going to kind of have to babysit it on a pretty regular basis. Okay, so now we're going to go for round 2. We're going to do it with the lid. We got 20 ounces of water in here. Brian and I are scouting out some different locations today. We found a cool spot at a trailhead, so we just kind of pulled over and we wanted a cup of joe and some tea, so we're gonna go ahead and get this started. And this is the fuel that I'm gonna be using today. I just went and found a little, you know, dried out pine branch, and that should be more than enough for us today to get this water going. And we're gonna time this to see how long it takes with the lid on and 20 ounces of water. We're about at the same altitude, right around 8,000 feet is where we're at today. And we're gonna give this sucker a little go. Okay, so we timed it. It took us 13 minutes to get the water boiling, and as you can see there, we got a good boil going here. So 13 minutes, not bad at about 20 degrees out at whatever, 8,000 feet for 20 ounces of water. Okay, so there are a few different ways that you can integrate this system and the price points that they offer. Now, I purchased this set on the Solo Stove website, and the prices are basically exactly the same as Amazon. So I'll have links in the description below to Amazon so you can go check out Solo Stove and all the different stoves that they offer. And that's always a great way when you use those hyperlinks to support the channel. So if you go with the entire system here, the Solo Stove Lite stove and the pot, you can buy these in combination for $105 on Amazon. If you want to buy them separately, the Solo Stove itself is 70 bucks. And then the pot is $35. So it's a wash either way. I would recommend going with this setup unless you already have a really good pot that you know the Solo Stove fits inside because of the dimensions that we've discussed. I really like this pot, it works well. Both of these items are very durable, and for that price point, when we take into consideration the fact I never have to buy fuel pods, I think that that is a very reasonable price at right around $100 for this complete set. So folks, let's go ahead and bring this video to a close, give you my final thoughts on how does this integrate into my systems. Well, to be honest, I basically left my MSR Pocket Rocket at home for the last, I think 5 months since I purchased this. I purchased this back in November of 2015 and have been using it regularly since then, and I love it. It's a little bit more maintenance in the sense of having to put wood in on a regular basis, whereas a MSR, you can just turn it on and leave it till the water's boiling. And I would say in comparison to the MSR, it's about twice as long to get the water boiling as the MSR can do it, just depending on your quantity of water that you're doing. So as long as you're not in a rush, I think that for basically free unlimited fuel source and around you, twigs and branches and whatever you want to use. I really like the concept, and I'm going to plan on keeping it in my regular hiking bag so that even if I'm in a location where I don't want to take the time to build a fire, but I either need to survive and I get stuck somewhere and last the night, or just want to have a cup of coffee, either way I can do it really fast and really contained in the stove. The second part that I really like to kind of help you consider is the fact of this would be a fantastic either survival kit or bug out bag system. And they have many different sizes, so maybe for a family, if you want to go even bigger, just even at your home, if the power goes out or you run out of propane, I mean, whatever it would be, you can get water boiling with just the sticks and twigs that are in your backyard and around the property. So that is a great concept, and basically, again, you never run out of fuel, whereas all those other fuel-based systems, you're gonna run out eventually. Yes, it's great in the short term, but in the long term, you're gonna run out of fuel. So you long-term preppers, I think this might be a great idea for you. I love it, it's compact, it gets the job done, and I think it's either a great augmentation to go with maybe a fuel system, if maybe there's a couple of you in your crew when you're going backpacking, one of you takes a wood-burning stove, one of you takes a fuel-based stove, use the wood-burning stove unless you're having a lot of trouble, and then you can use your fuel stove as a backup. Either way, guys, I love the Solo Stove Lite in combination with the 900 pot. I think it's an awesome little system that really works for me. And I hope, if anything, this video is just giving you some ideas, some food for thought, and whether or not this system could fit in something that you're building, either in a backpack system, camping system, or maybe even a prepper bug out bag system. So as always, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear your guys' thoughts on this idea of a wood burning stove. Check us out on all the relevant social media. And as always, remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.